everybody, this is Fernando Herboso once again with another episode of Foreclosure Exposure, and today I'm going to show you a little trick how we use this trick to find the most motivated sellers out there. Out of thousands and thousands of properties that are on the market right now, I can assure you with this little trick you're going to find out who's the most motivated to sell. And if you don't know about me, it's time that you do.
Thank you for participating in another episode of Saturday's Foreclosure Exposure, where we help you become an even better home investor and home buyer. Your host, Fernando Urbosa, an investor, an author, entrepreneur, and broker owner of Maxis Realty Group for Maryland and Virginia. With over 30 years of experience, Fernando has owned several rental properties, even a 30-unit apartment complex, where he managed hundreds of tenants and learned along the way the positive power of home ownership versus renting. Fernando is proudly a U.S. citizen born in Bolivia, South America. Coming to the U.S. early on, he has learned that each day is a new opportunity to improve yourself, to take a chance, and embrace it. If you are waiting for the right opportunity to buy your next home, Fernando will have you ready before you even know it. Please welcome Fernando Urbosa once again to another episode of today's Foreclosure Exposure.
Okay, thank you for joining us once again. And I'm going to ask you a question. If you are a seller, what will be the thing that you will do to tell everyone that you are very motivated to sell? Because as you know, when we put a property in the market under regular conditions, some people will tell us, I want to sell my property for $300,000. I will take $290,000 the list, and that will be it. I'm not going to go further than that. And obviously some people had a set price that they want to sell the property. Some other people have they don't have no idea how much they want to sell it for, but they have to sell it. So they put it on the market, and if it doesn't sell, they wait, and then they reduce the price, and then they wait a little bit longer and they reduce the price. So the trick is basically that, that from the thousands of sellers out there, we want to pinpoint who is the one that is reducing their price because they are not selling. And at the same time, we're going to find out if this property is even worth the price that they just reduced to. So I'm going to show you this trick, how we do this right now. Okay, let's start with, let's find out which counties we're going to be working with. Let's add Montgomery County, let's add Frederick County, and let's add PG County, okay? So let's just work with these counties. As you can see, I'm just using all the active properties. That's one thing that I want. And obviously it's going to be a lot. It's 2,478 properties. So I want to concentrate on these ones, okay? Action properties, bankruptcy, hard properties, the properties that are in foreclosure, the ones that they have. No, we're not going to use that. We're going to use real estate owned, and that's it. So let's go check out. We have 62 properties that we have for that area, for those three counties that are either foreclosures, auction properties, hard properties, and all that. So let's go ahead and check and see what properties we're going to see. One of the things that I wanted to tell you is that I want to figure out who is the person that has just reduced the price of these listings. Okay, not all the listings are going to have prices reduced, so we're gonna find out and pinpoint who is the person that just reduced the price. Let's check it out. Okay, as you can see, I have two columns over here. One of them is going to be the original list price, and the other column is going to be the actual price of the property. So this is when the property just came in the market on the original list price, and this is the price that currently is on the market. As you can see, right away we have this discrepancy here. They originally put this property on the market for $250,000. Now they have it for $70,000. Obviously, that's going to pique my interest. I got to check what's going on the property. There's probably some type of mistake or something is not right. But then I go around and kind of compare, if like this property was listed for 154, now they're for 144. Obviously, I want to see, these people may be motivated to sell. They must be motivated because they drop in the price. So those are the things that I want to check on all these properties. So I have 62 properties to check. So I'm gonna do that before I can go forward for the next step. Okay. So let me do this offline. Okay, the first property is just something that I just found out the reason why something happened to this property, and obviously this is maybe the reason why they dropped the price. So they originally put this property on February 28, 2020 for $250,000, and now it is listed for $70,000 on Hyattsville. Obviously, this is a fixer-upper, with exclamation points. So one of the things that you have to understand is, when a property scares a lot of people, that is usually the property you want to buy. There is a reason why they're getting scared, because they know there's a lot of work. There is a possibility over here to use this as a lot and completely demolish this house. There are different ways how to make money on real estate, but if you're looking to buy a house for your own to be living in, this is something that you don't want to do, obviously. So just going to go through a little bit about this. Is in Adelphi. This is another house in Oxon Hill, and then we're gonna stop in a few of them to kind of show you what I think they're good prices and the reasons why they dropped the price. This is in Capitol Heights for $169. This is in Frederick for $170,000. Let's check this one out. Okay, this property is in Frederick. It's basically a townhouse, obviously, and it doesn't look too bad as far as the condition of the property. Pretty clean. Maybe the carpets are going to be needing to be replaced, maybe a little paint. But what I'm saying to you is that you can save a lot of money with working on the equity of your home by increasing the value and adding more stuff on the property to make it worth even more for you, so you can get more equity. Like taking off the wallpaper on this property. This is a weekend project on these walls, and this is something that you can do easily yourself. When you see a tape around the toilets, that means that this property has been winterized, so there is no water on this property. So once we go and check this property out, you're gonna find out that we cannot be opening the faucets or using the toilets so they're going to we're going to insist for them to turn the water back on whenever you do your home inspection the first time. So we need to have the water for that. So Frederick don't look like it's a bad deal for this property. $170,000. As you can see, we can go to Remind, and let's check more information about this property that I think may be something that it will be beneficial for you. So I like to go straight to the property history. As you can see, they had on the market. This property was sold on June 11 for $139,000, and this was a hot property. Okay, so apparently they must have done some type of work, but they don't look that much, and they went up to $170,000. So on the mortgage on this property, someone had purchased this property and had a mortgage for $244,000 before. This was in 2005. So to get a little idea what the property is worth, according to these three different sources, this property is worth exactly what they're asking for right now, which is $170,000. So I think there is a chance for you to be able to get less for less money, but understanding that this property was purchased before for less money, and they cannot go below that. And that's the thing you have to understand, is that a lot of people want to lowball offer a property without understanding that why that the property cannot be lower than what they purchased the property for, because otherwise they'll be losing money. In this case, I see that the property was purchased for $139,000. They had to pay closing costs. Let's add another $10,000 to that. So we're looking about $150,000. So that's what the person, which is the seller, the investor, has on this property. And from the looks of it, I don't think he put too much money on this property, because he needs all this carpet change and all that stuff. So if he sells it for $170, like he's got it on the market right now, he's making $20,000. From the $20,000, he's gonna have to pay another $10,000 on closing costs. So he's barely making $10,000. But is it worth it? Is the property worth it? The $170,000? And will he take it? Will he take $160? It seems like he needs to sell it, because he already dropped the price on this property, and then for that reason, he must be getting a little bit antsy, because he had it in the market for $176 before, when he put it in the market 40 days ago, and then he dropped it to $170. So these are important information that you need to have in order for you to be buying a property. So let's continue on down, and let's go to other properties to check what else we got out there. Let's see what piques our curiosity. This is what I love about hunting for properties, kind of checking around. This one over here is actually in the Kenlands. This is at in Kendrick's Place. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath for $242,000. We know that around Kenlands, that's a really nice area, and that's a nice place to live, especially with all the amenities that they have around it. Carpet looks hideous and needs to be changed. Obviously needs painting. Somebody left in a hurry, and has a lot of missing things that needs to be put into work as soon as you go in there. But it's got granite counters, and maybe change or maybe paint those cabinets white. That would be a nice thing to do. And someone took this refrigerator, so you cannot bring beer the first day. But they left the washer and dryer. They took the refrigerator, but they left the washer and dryer. So, what's that, a gown rack? No, hopefully not. Not in the Kenlands. So, spot where, I don't know, something got smashed there, I guess. So obviously the outside of this property is going to be a very nice place, especially the nearby amenities. And so let's kind of check around a little bit more about what's going on this. They originally put in the market 87 days ago for $278,750. And now they drop it to $242. I want to remind this and trying to find out what's going on with this property. And immediately, I just want to go and see what exactly this property is worth around. Obviously, this is not going to be very accurate, but at least gives me an idea. So we have a source from 2 different companies where it's showing that the average that they think this property is worth is $269. So $242 sales price, asking price. That's not bad. So that's a good thing for us. So kind of let's check the property history. Let's see what we're looking at here. On May 19, 2020, this property was sold for $235,000. And obviously this is a property that was sold more likely through an auction, and the seller was this mortgage company, so this guy, the person who owns this property, we're looking about $235, and by the looks of it, don't look like he did and put too much money on this property. Obviously, So you kind of have a feeling how much money he spent on this property. Let's say he paid 235. We're looking at another $5,000. Let's put another $5,000 for closing costs for him to purchase the property. So that means that he's putting around $240,000. So what is that telling you? He's got $240,000 on this property, and he's selling it for $242. He tried to sell it for more, but he couldn't. And originally, this property, when they foreclosed the property, someone had a mortgage for $284,000 on this property in 2016, and this is the people who they, I guess, foreclosed the property from. So as you can see, the person that's selling this property don't have much room to negotiate with us on this. So if you're looking about maybe to purchase this property, we have to take, review more in detail all this information, so I can give you the advice what you think this property should be, what kind of offer they should take. Obviously, the guy does not want to lose too much money, and but at the same time, if we start seeing some of these things, we take that to our advantage, so we can negotiate the best possible price. Let's look at one more house. This one was $289,000. Let's see what's going on with this property. This property has been on the market 165 days. That's long enough. And they had it originally for $308,000. And what they have it for now? $289,000. So they dropped the price, about almost $20,000. Let's see. This is, they don't have even pictures of the house. They only have one picture, and that's it. It's what you see is what you get on this property. And a little bit more information on this property. Let's check of what you think this house is going to be worth right now, to see if it's worth to even messing with it. $294 based on those two companies, and they're asking $289. So not too happy with this. I just wanted to see if that was going to be one of the properties that will be worth the price. So let's check this big house. Let's see. This is in Brandywine, 5 bedrooms, 3 full baths, and it's got some pictures that we can check out. As you can see, when it comes down to foreclosures and auction properties, you're not going to be getting the property that's going to be tip-top shape, ready to move in. You have to spend some money on the cleaning and the painting before you move in. But you can save thousands of dollars. It's not really bad. I've seen many people buy these properties. They spend about $3,000-$4,000, and then for the next 7 days, they have this thing nice, painting and cleaning and adjusting different things. But obviously in some cases they need a lot more than painting, as you can see. But this is a huge home. There is no deck on the back, so because of the reason, it's telling me that this property is possibly value a lot more money, because some of the other properties in the area, more likely they spend a lot of money on their properties on the neighborhood, and they may be worth a lot more money. Let's see. So not much difference, $364 to $350. So it's about $14,000 in between those three people. Kind of want to see what's going on. It was sold for $230,000 in March 2020. So it's by the time they finish paying the closing costs and everything else, this is not going to be a good purchase for this mortgage company who is the sellers now. And originally this property had a mortgage in 2008 for $492,000. Well, that was a big loss for that seller. So I'm kind of liking this property. I think that because this is a credit mortgage company owner of this property is telling me that I know they're already losing money selling this property for $349, considering that they were trying to break even at first, and they were trying to sell it for $370 For 118 days, they could not sell it, and now they drop it down to 349, and I think they will even take less. So for them, it's very important to sell this property and get rid of it than having to hang on to this price. I'm not sure how low you can go with this, but I think this can be a great buy because this is a nice looking home that you can find, and I can tell you the payments on this house is going to be ridiculous. Okay, one thing I did not mention is to making sure that the motivation to buy a house should be more towards you as the buyer than the motivation for the seller to sell the property, because ultimately you're going to be living on this house, you're going to be paying for this house, and you have to be happy all around. Don't cut corners because you're trying to save $1,000 or $5,000 and live in a crappy place. Obviously you don't want to do that and put your family on top of that because you just save a few dollars. Find the property, the right property, and hopefully we can help you find the motivated seller that is willing to sell the property on the areas that you're looking for. Main thing you have to understand that when you go and see the property for the first time, don't freak out. They say this is dirty and you cannot picture yourself living there, because the more you can get in your mind and put that the finished product of the property, what you're going to do, what you're going to paint, what you're going to replace, what is exactly what you're going to do to improve the property. And that's the vision that you should be looking at every time you see a property, so you know that is the perfect place for you. Again, this is Fernando Rebozo with Maxus Realty Group, and this is another episode of Foreclosure Exposure. See you next week, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call me at 301-246-0001. Meanwhile, have a great day and be safe.